Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon. Glad that you are all joining us. Thank you so much. So first off, I put it in the chat, but happy start to the Microsoft fiscal year. We are excited that you are starting your Microsoft year with us. For those of you that don't know, Microsoft's year runs from July through June. So July 1st, we're all together for some Microsoft monthly updates. I appreciate you guys jumping in. Before we get started, I do want to remind you the Q&A. So please go through, publish your questions. We have a lot of people here on the back end ready to help support and answer those as we go through. So don't feel like you got to wait till the end, but we will have a designated Q&A at the very end as well. But we'll also be stopping, answering some questions and doing those in the chat as we go through today. All right, some quick introductions. Go through those pretty fast, I promise everybody, but we're going to hit some program updates, change of channel, we've got enablement, and then we've got a special guest for Superops today. Now from your Pax8 side, if I've not gotten the chance to meet you yet, my name is Kristen Fehrenbach. I'm the Senior Director of our Microsoft Go-to-Market team here at Pax8. You're going to hear from Ashley Moretti and Vandit Patel as well. Super secret guest, Mr. Juan Hernandez. We are super excited to have him join us. He joined us at Beyond. He was at Beyond Live. We've also got him here for you today as well. Now, you might have seen some really cool news, and I am so excited to share with you guys. Pax8 has been awarded the Global Microsoft Partner of the Year Award. Super big thank you to all of you as partners. We couldn't do it without you. We work day in and day out to make sure that we are able to support you and your end customers. So a big thank you as we celebrate this with all of you. Now, without further delay, I am super excited to welcome Ashley Moretti. Thank you so much for joining today.
Hi, Kristen. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
Just trying to get 2 seconds to screen share situated so I can also see the chat. There we go, while we're doing it. But yeah, so nice to meet you, everybody. If it's your first time tuning in, Ashley Moretti, Senior Director of Microsoft Programs here at Pax8. If you are a regular, welcome back. I have some new updates for you guys this month, like Kristen alluded to, kicking off the Microsoft fiscal year. So things are about to change and start to ramp up. So have some new updates and a couple of reminders. As always, if you feel like I'm going too fast through the content, feel free to grab a screen snip, save it to review back later. You'll also get a email recap of this event, and you can always find the slides in Academy. So I always like to say that if you're a first-time attendee, there's a lot of information that comes from my section, and just want to make sure that you feel empowered and you don't feel lost, because this information is very important. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. So first things first, securing the partner ecosystem. So these are all things, security practice that you need to be aware of in order to ensure that you're adopting the best security practice for yourself and for your customers. So starting this month, July 2024, Microsoft is going to require MFA for all Azure users. So if you don't already have an MFA practice adopted, please reach out to your account team. And this is just in general. MFA, even though it's only for Azure, this requirement, it is important to have an MFA policy adopted internally for you guys as a partner, as well as for your customers. And your account team here at Pax8 can help you determine what's the best licensing in order to get you those MFA features. And just want to make sure that your Azure users have MFA going into this month to ensure that they can access the Azure portal if they need to, or any of the Azure Man, I can't even think today. I want to say features. Sorry, I don't know why that worked when it comes to any of the Azure features that are out there. Additionally, there's some changes to some security APIs. So Microsoft is launching a new Graph Security Alerts API that's coming at the end of this month. And then the Microsoft Graph Beta API was released end of May, so just a little bit over a month ago. And then the existing Azure Fraud API will be deprecated at the end of this calendar year. So want to make sure if you're using APIs to access any information, get those security alerts, manage your security dashboards, that you are aware of what the APIs are available to you and which ones are going end of life or deprecated at the end of this year. Additionally, if you're not familiar, Microsoft has created a GDAP relationship dashboard in your partner center. You can go into, I think it's customer insights area, and be able to see all things GDAP, that's granular delegated admin permissions. And some new things that have come to this dashboard recently is partners can now see any relationships that expired over the past year. And so, you know, we've been teaching about how to adopt the best GDAP practice to renew relationships, but we know that sometimes things kind of fall through the cracks. You may have missed one, and maybe you were curious, have you gotten all of them extended, or have you missed one? You can now see any relationships that have expired, which is really nice. And then if they have expired and you need to initiate a new relationship between you and your end customer, you can do so right in the dashboard now. Oh, it looks like my third bullet point did not capture here in the slide, so we'll just go with the fourth bullet point. Apologies about that. The biggest thing for GDAP in the dashboard now is that partners will receive a bi-weekly digest of upcoming expiring relationships, and so it's every 15 days. And so previously, Microsoft was sending an email. It was like every 37 and 1 day prior to expiring relationships, and that was causing a lot of partner systems to be bogged down. Maybe your emails were, you know, getting kind of flagged and you weren't able to see those. And so with feedback from you as our partners, as well as feedback from Pax8 to Microsoft directly, we have been able to work with Microsoft to have influence them to create a new digest that allows you to see what what GDAP relationships are expiring and no longer receiving those emails. And then additionally, GDAP relationships do not auto extend. So if you have a relationship that was only set for 1 year, or maybe you went through the Microsoft-led transition last year and allowed Microsoft to move you and your customer relationships from DAP to GDAP, those relationships are only good for 1 year. So that 1 year timeline is upcoming. It's going to be approaching here end of summer. And so if you want those relationships to extend, you need to go in and take action yourself and enable auto extend. You can do so in the GDAP insights area in the GDAP dashboard. And then remember, Pax8 has extended all customer relationships between us and the customer. And so we've taken care of those relationships. So no action needed there, but your relationship between you and your end customer will need action and will need to be extended. If you have any questions about that, feel free to drop them in the chat. I'll get to the questions after I'm done presenting my section. And so don't worry, we'll make sure we get those answered, because this is a really important topic to make sure that you have the best security policies and best security practices adopted between you and your end customers. Next topic is, oh, we have a question. Kristen's on. Sorry, you guys can't see the back end, but I can see the back end, and Kristen's face just appears. Hi, Kristen.
Hello. A couple of questions before we move on. I just want to make sure. So Allison's asking, what date does MFA become enforced this month?
So the partner center announcement doesn't specifically call out a date for this month. It just says July 2024. I can go ahead and drop in that partner center announcement now. Give me 2 seconds, so that way you guys can just see it. And it goes through all of those things that I talked about in my slide. So let me just make an announcement. And this is securing partner ecosystem, PC info. All right, so you guys should have that link right there.
Thank you so much. And then we have another one that's asking, will the Azure user MFA requirement affect break glass accounts? If so, how do we create exceptions to the MFA policy? I'm not sure if you know this off the top of your head at this point. We can always follow up, but I did want to at least call this one out.
Yeah, I think just the entire topic on MFA and what is the best way to adopt a practice for you and your end customers is a really important one to be having with your account team, because there are a lot of nuances and a one size answer doesn't fit all. So I'd highly recommend you reaching out to your account team with that question and ensuring that you have the conversation to understand the best ways to adopt MFA, especially if you have unique scenarios.
These questions are coming in now that they know that we are asking them live, so hang with us. Where can we find the GDAP relationship dashboard?
Oh, it's in Partner Center. So if you log into your Partner Center, there's going to be an Insights tile, and you can click on that and then navigate to GDAP. It's going to be a section, and if you click on that link that I just put in the chat, it also will have more information, but that will be available in your Partner Center.
Excellent, excellent. I'll ask one more and then I'm going to just answer some on the back end as we go. But this one is asking, when you say Azure users, is this all M365 users, i.e. Entra ID?
So it's going to be anybody who has access to the Azure portal. And so you want to make sure, and the reason for MFA is partly because of the big kind of epidemic around getting hacked and being able to spin up additional Azure spend and Azure usage, having MFA to ensure that only those who are accessing the Azure portal that need to have access to the Azure portal or have access to make changes in the Azure portal. So this is going on the customer, right? If they have access to spin up usage or anything like that, MFA is required. So this way, if you get hacked, you're not having someone going in and racking up a bunch of charges against you onto your bill. And so it's wide stream there. And so again, if you have any questions about the MFA specific policies, Microsoft also posted, well, one, connect with your account team, but two, Microsoft also posted a great blog post as to why they're doing this, and you can access that via that link that I just dropped in as well. So read up on it. That one link will have everything you need to know about securing the partner ecosystem this month that Microsoft is enforcing.
I said that was going to be the last one, but I had one more good one.
It's okay.
And then I'm going to answer more. Okay, so regarding the new GDAP relationship, how many days in advance are we able to renew the relationship?
Yeah, so you can, you will not see your relationships expiring until they come within the 30-day window prior to the expiration, but you can go in and you can auto extend those relationships at that moment. So, and you can only do 25 at a time. And this is something I think that's important because the page displays 50. And if you go in and click select all, it will select all 50 and then you'll get an error. So you can only select 25 at a time to auto extend, but you can do that as they come up for expiration and you can see those. So go in. I highly recommend reviewing your dashboard and playing around with it, getting used to it, because that's going to have all the information you need around your GDAP relationships, what has expired, what's coming up for expiry, that digest every other week or 15 days that will let you know any actions you need to take. So I see Kristen jumped off camera. Like I said, we will get to your questions. Don't worry. I am on here the whole time. So even if you have a question after this, feel free to drop it in and we'll get to it as the rest of the presenters go through their content. All right, moving on to the next one. So Microsoft SQL Server 2014 is reaching its end of product lifecycle, as it's going to be 10 years old here next week on July 9th. And so in order to modernize your SQL Server estate, there are three options that you have. One would be just to purchase an end of and ESU security updates to your SQL Server if you're not ready to bridge to the cloud. However, we really recommend that you start talking with your customers around moving to the cloud. And with that, there's two options. We can either be in a hybrid option, which is the extending the SQL Server 2014 into Azure Arc, and that was available as of May. So you can already start doing this, or you can fully modernize into a full Azure estate. And if you have questions around doing that, again, please reach out to your account team because they can help map that process for you and your end customers, what that looks like and what needs to know, because the option 3, those the extension of the on-premise services can be quite expensive, and you can only do this for up to 3 years. And every year you have to purchase those additional extensions for the security updates. And so we want to make sure that we're having those conversations now and early, and how do we get you into a hybrid or fully transitioned Azure model. And then I will drop more information on this in the chat once I'm done getting through my content. So if you have any questions about that, you can read the Partner Center announcement as well. All right, this one is a really important one. So CSP data quality enhancement. So last fall, Microsoft created a policy change around CSP data that lives in Partner Center. And so essentially any information that is changed in Partner Center will trigger a verification process. And so this means if you change your address because your company moved to a new location, you change who your primary contact is, etc. Anything in your Partner Center around your CSP enrollment that is changed will create a verification process. And the reason this is important to know is because Microsoft will notify you in your Global Admin Action Center. So only global admins will get this notification that they need to engage in the validation process to complete their verification. And you have to do this within 30 days. Failure to do this within 30 days will result in a failed or rejected state of your CSP program enrollment, and therefore subject to CSP suspension or offboarding. So suspension means you no longer can sell. Temporarily offboarding means you completely lose your CSP enrollment in general and no longer allowed to be a reseller, and no longer allowed to sell under that MPN ID. So we want to make sure that you're aware of this because we're seeing it come up more and more often with partners. So our recommendations are to ensure that you check your CSP enrollment and that it's in good standing regularly. And that you check the Action Center as well to make sure that you're not missing any key important notifications. And if you are making any changes to your CSP information in Partner Center, be prepared to submit the supporting documentation. And then if you do happen to become suspended and you've been able to get your account back into a compliant state, but it hasn't been reactivated yet, please contact Pax8 support so we can help work with Microsoft to get your CSP enrollment reactivated. But Microsoft is taking a zero tolerance policy on this. So if you do become suspended because you have a fail or rejected state in Partner Center, it becomes very difficult to get it reinstated and reactivated, which is 2 different steps, and you could be out of being able to sell new licensing for months. And so we want to make sure that you're aware of this and that you are checking your Partner Center regularly and your global admins have this action on them to ensure that your accounts are always in the accepted state, which will be a little green check mark. Any questions about this, let us know. We have also created some new documentation in Academy for you, and so you can go and see and read up on this as well. But again, this is probably the most important thing I'll hit on today because we want to make sure you as a partner are able to continue to sell and you're not rejected because you maybe changed your address in Partner Center. But I see Kristen came back on, and I love when Kristen comes on because that means you have questions, and I love questions.
We've got quite a few in the chat, but I think this one's relevant to what you're talking about right at this moment. And this is, will this email/notification be sent to the global admin of our partner or the global admin of each of the managed tenants?
So it's the global admin of each. Well, okay, so I think this is when you're saying, I'll answer this in two parts because I'm not exactly sure which way you're going, but global admin in general. And so if you have a tiered system where you have multiple tenants associated with a global partner center, it will go to the global admin that's associated with the partner center that is being flagged. And then from a customer standpoint, as well, it would be on again the same global admin that is managing that tenant. So if you have multiple tenants, it's important to log into each of those tenants and not use the hierarchy where you just have one login that you're checking those individual specific tenants regularly. And then I saw Kristen pop off, so maybe she's scared to give me more questions, but that's okay. Like I said, I will get to them. Don't you worry. And we want to make sure that you have all the information that you need today. All right, and then CSP 1K TTM revenue requirement. TTM stands for trailing 12 months. So as of April 1st, 2024, Microsoft now requires all CSP resellers to have a revenue amount of 1,000 USD over a trailing 12-month period. So this is 1,000 in revenue total over the 12 months, not per month. It's a combined revenue at your CSP anniversary. If you don't have a total of 1,000 USD in a 12-month period and you're at risk, Microsoft will notify you as the reseller 90 days in advance of your CSP anniversary, letting you know that you are at risk. And if you are at risk, what does that mean? Well, failure to meet the revenue requirement will result in termination of your CSP agreement, and you will no longer be authorized to sell from the tenant, and will be responsible for transitioning all subscriptions to an authorized reseller within a 90-day period. Now, big thing here, I said within that tenant. So if you have multiple tenants, each tenant must meet the 1,000 USD revenue requirement. And so again, these are taken in account separately, and it's $1,000 in a 12-month period. So combined revenue from 12 months, which if you break down the math is not that much. It's a little less than $100 per month. So but we know a lot of you have maybe internal tenants that you use for testing, things like that. You need to make sure that your spend is over $1,000 USD. And again, I have links for all of these, so I'll drop them in the chat. And my last reminder is if you are engaged in the public sector program for in general, so that is government, nonprofit, and education, that you will now be required to move to NCE. Products are already made available on the NCE model, and they're available in the Pax8 marketplace today. But if you haven't transitioned your customer subscriptions from legacy to NCE already, Microsoft will do that for you starting September 1st, and it'll be at the renewal date of the legacy subscription. And then legacy incentives will end March 1st of next year. So we want to make sure you're aware of these changes. Again, the last day to purchase legacy is August 1st, so just 1 month from now, and that you should be starting to transition your customers from legacy to NCE prior to September 1st in order to ensure that you are in control of the commitment and seat count and billing terms that you would like on the NCE platform, and to get you to move early, right? To be, again, I don't like to say move early because I think it's important to be in charge of your movement and your transition from legacy to NCE. So again, you can be in charge of picking your billing and commitment terms and ensuring the number of seats you need are actually transitioned. So it's important to do that. But to incentivize you to do that early, a promotion is available where you can get the 20% premium waived on the month-to-month offer, meaning you can try out NCE without having to pay the premium, so it'd be at the annual price for the following products, which is Business Standard, Business Premium, E3, and E5. So again, we've been talking about this for the past couple of months, so just want to make sure that you remember that this is coming and that you take the action so you can be in control of your customer subscriptions. All right, I see Kristen again. I love this. I love this, you guys.
Everybody's excited about Ashley's programs today. So we have a question from Anonymous. It just says, where do I find the CSP status in Partner Center? So where do they go to actually make sure that the status is a green check?
Oh yeah, that's a great question. I'll try to walk you through this in my brain as I visualize it, but you need to be the global admin, anybody can see it, but the global admin will have the different status that Microsoft is pushing out. But if you log in, and then in the top right-hand corner, you can go to your account, and then you can go to your, I think it's your legal info will be an option that will populate on the right side. So if you go into your account settings and on the right side, go to your account info and account settings, and then on the left side will be a pane that will appear, a menu, and you'll go to your legal info. And then when you're in your legal info, it'll populate a page that will essentially tell you everything about your partner center, like your business name, your business address, who your primary admins are for the contact information. And then it will say like authorize, and it'll have a green check mark. If it has a red X and then it says like rejected next to it, then that's no good. You'll have a fix now button that will appear. And if you click fix now, it will tell you what documentation you need to provide in order to verify your status. But if you have the green check mark, you're good. The red X means take action and to go ahead and do so. And again, if you are flagged by Microsoft for making a change, the Action Center and Partner Center that the global admins have access to will tell you what you need to do as well. And that's like a little bell icon up in the top right-hand corner as well, next to where you would go click for your account information. Sorry, I don't have a screenshot on that. Hopefully you can visualize.
Account teams are here to help too, right?
Yes, exactly. And it's in our, I haven't even made a plug yet because it's a little early, but our newsletter will be coming out mid-month this month, and it will be in our newsletter as well. So make sure that you're checking the newsletter for the information, but the newsletter will also walk you through the steps to find that information. And it was in the newsletter last month. So if you're like, what's the newsletter? I'll drop those links in because you should have access to those. I write that every month for you guys. And the newsletter will also tell you from last month any information you need to know around this topic.
Awesome. I am getting quite a few questions about this $1,000 limit. So
yes,
I'm going to try to encompass probably 10 questions in this one, Ashley. So
no worries.
I think that this one kind of outlines most of people's concerns. So can you be very clear on what it means to have a minimum $1,000 spend per tenant? We have a lot of very small clients, and with that, do we have to somehow combine those tenants? What happens to those in particular? Because
Great
yeah, there's a lot of people saying we have small clients. Are they going to be canceled? What do we do?
Yeah, got it. Great question. This is on the CSP reseller level. So you as the partner need to be doing $1,000 in total revenue for the year. So that's everybody you're selling to combined. So it's not each individual client, it's you and your business profile. So all of your customers added up. Now, if you have multiple tenants, this means you as an indirect reseller you have multiple MPN IDs, right? Multiple tenants that each of those tenants need to have a $1,000 revenue, meet that $1,000 revenue threshold. And so sometimes why somebody would have multiple tenants is like you have a tenant that allows you're reselling to all your end customers, and then you have a tenant where you're like selling for like internal dev testing or anything like that. So again, it's not on the customer level, it's all customers combined associated into your one tenant or your one MPN ID. I just dropped in a link to Partner Center that talks about the revenue requirements for CSP and direct resellers. So go ahead and take a look at that. But again, it is $1,000 of all your customers combined under, think about it like your MPN ID, like your enrollment.
All right, excellent. There's a couple more questions that Ashley, I'm going to let you get to in the chat, but I'll let you make sure we're wrapped up. But if we're good, we'll hand it over to Vandit.
Yeah, I'll grab those questions in the chat. Keep dropping them in if you want to. I'm also going to be on the back end helping Vandit answer questions around change of channel. And so this is the new partner-to-partner transfer tool that Microsoft released. So I'll hand it over to Vandit and I'll get to you guys on the back end. But thanks for listening in. I appreciate it. And off to you, Vandit.
Thanks, Ashley, and thanks for the support. Change of channel, yes. I know our partners are really excited about the partner-to-partner transfer process here. Microsoft released it hot off the presses 2 weeks ago. So we're going to dive right in and we're going to take a look at what the high-level flow looks like and then what exactly the change of channel means. So like I said, Microsoft officially released the P2P process 2 weeks ago. So what this means for partners is that now you'll have the ability to transfer your subscriptions, your customer subscriptions between providers mid-commitment. You no longer have to wait for the beginning or the end of a commitment term. Now with this change of channel process, you will be able to make those changes in the middle of your commitment. And kind of at a high level, what this looks like is, so when you want to initiate this request, you'll initiate the request with the future partner. Future partner will then confirm that transfer request with you and the customer. And then once that process is confirmed, there's a lot that happens in the back end between the future provider and the current provider to move your subscription over. But let's take a look at what the process looks like here for Pax8. So with this being really relatively new, 2 weeks, we're still in a pilot phase with this. Some updates will come to this process once we have a broader rollout. But at its core right now, what it looks like is to initiate the change of channel process, you want to reach out to your channel account manager, asking how you can transfer your subscriptions mid-commitment. From there, your channel account manager will verify that you've engaged with your current provider, your current indirect provider, and that they have verbally approved that you can transfer to Pax8. Once that confirmation has been received, you'll then see this Microsoft NCE change of channel request SKU unlock in the marketplace. Once that SKU is unlocked, our product team will then follow up with additional information. And that's listed right here. The first one that I'd like to point out is just that top one, written acknowledgement from the previous indirect provider recognizing and approving the transfer request. The reason why this part is important is this is what will help expedite the transfer process. So if you want to see the quickest turnaround from transferring from your current provider to your future provider, the written acknowledgement will be key here. And then outside of that is just standard client information. So the Microsoft customer tenant ID, so the actual tenant ID that's in the platform just for validation, the current indirect provider's name that you are currently with, and their Microsoft ID, your MPN ID, along with your customer's name, email, and a list of their subscriptions that you'd like to see transferred along with the subscription ID. All of that information together will then let our product team take your subscriptions and then move them into the Pax8 portal. Again, this process is still in a bit of a pilot phase, so we'll see improvements to this process, and we're starting with a slow rollout. But if you are interested in this, please reach out to your CAM. We can talk to you directly. We can start working with the change of channel. But couple frequently asked questions that we've seen come outside of the pilot. A few that I just want to call out. First is what happens to subscriptions commitment terms when going through this change of channel process. So Commitment terms will continue to be the same. They will not restart. So if you transfer mid-commitment, what will happen is your current provider will refund you for the remainder of the commitment term, and then your new provider will then bill you for the remainder of your commitment term. So there will be no way for you to restart that commitment term during change of channel at this time. Also, a lot of questions we've received is how long does the process take? Well, the process can vary based on the information provided. The one thing I will call out here is your current provider, your current indirect provider, your distributor has 30 days to approve the change of channel request. If we do not see that approval in 30 days, you'll then have to initiate that process again. So this is where that written acknowledgement from your existing provider really comes into play, is when we have that, it makes that process streamlined. It makes it easier to continue and push to finish here. And I'm going to pause for a second because I'm assuming we have a few questions in the window.
You felt it coming, didn't you?
I did feel it coming. I felt you staring at me.
Yes, yes. So this one is saying, can we transfer Microsoft Direct Bill subscriptions to us as the reseller through Pax8 midterm?
I believe so, but let me fact check with
Yeah, I'm going to jump in here on this one. Sorry, Ashley here. So there is some confusion going on right now around the different channels. And this, we're working with Microsoft to clarify what they mean. From our understanding, direct CSP to indirect CSP should be eligible, but going from like web direct, which is where you purchase with Microsoft directly with a credit card and like itself, like the self-service model where your customer can go, or you can just go purchase directly like on Microsoft.com, that is not eligible. But again, there are a lot of new changes that are coming with this tool that we're working with Microsoft to confirm. And if you guys were on the recent CSP technical call, this may be where your question is coming from, and we will keep everybody updated on what are the allowed channels once we confirm with Microsoft.
All right, excellent. We've got a couple questions coming in, and I think that more is going to be explained. You know, can they go from GoDaddy? You know, what does that look like? And I do see one that I want to at least address, and I'm happy to even take this one, Vandit, because a lot of them are coming in and kind of saying the same thing. So this one is basically just saying, so the losing vendor can sandbag you, basically. So as it stands today, and we're giving feedback to Microsoft consistently, so please keep that in mind. But as the process stands today, the losing distributor, provider, whoever that is, they have 30 days to respond. If they don't respond in that 30 days, the person, the one that you're having to move to, they will have to resubmit a new request after the 30 days. Now, us as Pax8, we're providing feedback on, you know, maybe there should be a limit. We're going through a couple different things right now. So please feel free to submit your feedback in this Q&A. We are gathering all of that, and that will be submitted back to Microsoft as well. But as it stands today, the losing provider, they will have 30 days to respond. And then whoever we are hoping to move that transfer to, that person will have to resubmit a new transfer request. I think that hopefully that is clear. All right. And then I know we have some other questions coming in, but we are just going to kind of keep on rolling. Vandit, please feel free to keep moving forward, and we'll answer as we go.
No, we'll do. Last thing I want to touch on here is just a couple resources that I'll share in afterwards. And then again, if you do have questions about the current process, our current pilot and our pilot program right now, please reach out to your account manager for more information. This won't be the last time you see this. As we continue to refine this process here at Pax8, you'll be hearing more from us and how we're refining that process, and once we hear from Microsoft. But I'll share those resources once I cover the next section, but I'm going to dive right into some enablement updates. Just want to do a quick update on some of the events we have coming up. First one I want to talk about is Unlocking Business Success with Copilot. We have a webinar on July 9th with the wonderful Julie Hodges from our team and Caleb Baker from our professional services team. This webinar is focused on Copilot business cases, the current state of Copilot, and then we reserve a lot of time on this webinar for a in-depth live Copilot demo across Copilot in each of the Office applications. So you'll get to see Copilot inside of Word, PowerPoint, Outlook, Teams. And this webinar is open to both partners and to your end customers. So if you have clients who are interested in Copilot adoption but want to see what it looks like, what the benefits of Copilot can be for their business and their workflow, this webinar is the one for you. We'll have this on July 9th. I'll drop the registration link afterwards, but please invite yourselves, your customers, and it'll be an open forum. You can ask questions if you want to see anything specific. We'll be able to cover that as well. Next up, happening later this month, is our virtual business applications bootcamp. Really excited for this one. Our first BizApps bootcamp of the year. We'll be excited to cover Business Central at depth with our pro services team, but we also have a few guests from Microsoft joining us to talk about Power Platform, sales, as well as Copilot Studios. So if you're interested in any of that, please register for our business applications bootcamp. You do have a few weeks before we reach that date. So if there's anything that you want to learn about BizApps and how to grow your business there, we'll have our bootcamp. Next, our technical hands-on labs. We have a few options here for July. Next week, we'll be running a CMMC hands-on lab, followed by a few Azure ones, Sentinel, Azure Migrate, and then we have a couple for August and September. This list will continue to grow as we enter into the new fiscal year. We'll be expanding these offerings. So if you want to see what our latest hands-on labs dates are as we continue to add them, check out the QR code down below here, or you can visit the Microsoft Hub on Pax8 Academy. That's where we host all of our registration pages for our hands-on labs. So if you want to see the latest calendar as we update them before our next monthly webinar, that will be the spot for it. And for all of my international friends, our global events that we have running right now, we have some launch briefings happening in both Australia and UK, both virtual, and then we have some in-person events happening as well, a few mission briefings, and the cybersecurity master classes that we have in England, Bristol this time. So if you're looking for any of those events, I'll drop the links for those so you can register for each of those. But we'll be running these events all throughout September. And then if there's anything new that gets added, you'll see it right on those events pages. But with that, as I complete enablement, I'm excited to introduce Juan and Superops to take it away from here.
Man, they had some great swag at the event. I love it.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it, you guys. Thanks so much. You guys are awesome. Give me just a second here. I want to go ahead and share this screen out real quick, and then I will get started. 2 seconds. Let me make sure that you guys can see this as soon as this works. Hold on.
Awesome. We are hanging tight with you. And then I am going to do a shameless plug while we're working on getting the slides up. We had one on Beyond Live. They were a fantastic sponsor during Beyond. So we were able to get him to basically sprint from his main stage session and all of the different breakouts they were doing. We had him running to come and meet us at Beyond Live on set. So he made it in time. We were happy to see him. And we are excited to hear about Superops today. Let's see. I see some content up. I think we are ready to roll. Yeah, we're ready to roll. It looks great.
Hold on, Kristen. I think I got the wrong slide up here. Oh, did it die?
No, we still have you. I got your screen.
You know, of course, it's going to go wonky
it's
on
live.
me, right?
It's live. That's what happens when things are live. All right.
How about now?
This looks like it.
All right. Well, thanks you guys so much, Kristen. It's such an amazing honor and opportunity to be here with you guys today. And thanks to everybody that's joining us here for the monthly live stream coming to you from Microsoft Pax8. And we are honored to be here. My name is Juan Fernandez. I am the channel chief for Superops, and just confirm that you can see that, Kristen, that it looks good and you see my face up there.
I sure can.
Awesome. Well, that being said, I want to say thanks to everyone for joining us because it was an amazing time at Beyond. And for those of you that got to join us, you got to hear some of the exciting announcements, so many wonderful things that we're hearing today from Microsoft. And that being said, there's going to be a lot of things that I'm talking about today that are really, who is Superops and what is it that, how does this work? How does this work for an MSP in the current ecosystem of opportunities? And what are some of the current capabilities and how does this really match up to what Microsoft and Pax8 are doing? And so for those of you that are joining us and have questions, feel free to ask questions in the chat. Kristen will do me such an awesome square and actually come back on screen. But I want to talk to you a little bit about some of the things that we do here at Superops. Now, for those of you that don't know us, we are a next generation RMM PSA. We are also built on the foundation of artificial intelligence. So we have a new opportunity of ways of doing things. And a lot of those things that we do as a new generation RMM PSA platform are really elaborate ways of delivering new value. And one of the things that I'm going to do is I'm going to illustrate some of the ways that we work with Microsoft to integrate, and then also ways that we are also partnering with Pax8 to bring this future forward. And one of the real cool things that we have built into our platform is scripting and automation along with customization. In our platform, we actually have the ability to actively run scripts to be able to run PowerShells or VB scripts or automate a various number of tasks across all Windows operating systems. Now, I know our primary focus is on Windows and primarily we are a Windows house, but we do also support Mac. So for those of you that are operating on both sides of the fence and managing those ecosystems, know that we got you covered. And so with that, with script automation, you have the ability to take and automate a number of Windows tasks within the operating system. And so when you're looking at how do I actively, manage effective systems, we got you covered. Now, I know that scripts are awesome and ways that we deploy automation are really cool, but we also have patch management. So for those of you that are out there that are managing a number of patches on a number of computers, we offer patch management that enables your MSPs to schedule, automate patches across all Microsoft Windows devices today. You can automatically accept, decline, or reject patches across the board. So if those patches are coming out and you haven't rolled them out and you have a computer that's in a state that you want to pause it on, you can do it by endpoint, you can do it by group, you can do it by organization, you can do it across the board in a number of different ways. And this is really tailored to make sure that your systems are up and running to date securely and making sure that vulnerabilities are reducing, that you're avoiding vulnerabilities and reducing your downtime. And that being said, we also have something very elaborate called Advanced Asset Management. And inside of our asset management tool, we have the ability to not only discover Windows devices, but also network devices. So for those of you that are monitoring your physical desktop devices, you can also look at network devices. You can also look at cloud workloads and a number of other opportunities within the ecosystem of managing your customers. So with that, I'd like to also introduce our intelligent management and intelligent alerting. This is one of the key features that a lot of MSPs, when they're thinking about how they're managing their day, this is one of the critical components where I need to know what's happening on my Windows-based devices really quickly. And if there's a problem, I need to know about it before it actually becomes a bigger customer problem. And this is where you have a really good opportunity to tailor your day and make sure that you're paying attention to the alerts that matter to you, but not necessarily the alerts that are just generating noise. For many of us that manage a number of systems, we know that when one happens to one computer, it can happen to 1,000 computers, and immediately it becomes a really big deal. And with our system, we give you the ability to see the alerts that really matter and compartmentalize those to make sure that you're paying attention to the ones that are actually the high impact opportunities where there's something really serious that we need to be paying attention to. And this is where our integration and the way we work with Microsoft products really shines, because now we have the ability to take all the device information and actually, bring all that together to provide you that opportunity to place your focus on the things that matter. One of the things that we talked about just a moment ago was the ability to actually roll out these changes across computers, whether it be through a device or user or through a organization. And our policy management gives you that opportunity to be able to do group-based policy management, whether you want to do it based on a group or a hierarchical policy, and enforce those policies down, whether it be from a password policy, whether it be from a desktop policy, whether it be from an application. We give you the autonomy to actually manage all of those different types of policy types and devices in the way that you see them working. And one of the big things, and I know that today we're getting through this, and one of the things from MSPs is you're starting to think about, obviously there's a lot of changes that are happening in the ecosystem. There's a lot of things that we're moving forward toward. And one of the things that we recognize is the modern era managed service is digital transformation. A lot of changes are happening, as you heard from all the updates today, but really truthfully, it's about managing change. And our platform is set to allow you to manage that change within those organizations. We've spent a lot of time on focusing on your processes and your procedures and the things that you're able to deliver value on. And with that, we are really, really, really super excited to be talking about some of the future. Some of these things that we're talking about today are table stakes, which we're using artificial intelligence to enhance and really help you build value by saving you time. Our platform on average saves a technician about 10 hours a month. Now, if you multiply 10 hours times the number of technicians that you have, that's a significant amount of money. But when we think about how we're actually improving your outcomes and working with our partners, one of the big things is we're focused on where they'd like us to go by listening. We hear a lot of the things that you ask for, and a lot of those things are some of the things that are coming soon. And I'm super pumped to be able to talk to you a little bit about some of the coming soon, where we are stepping forward to enhance our integration with Microsoft and Defender. We're also working to build a deeper integration with Microsoft Azure. We're also looking at, on our roadmap currently, is advancing our AI and machine learning capabilities, also to include collaborations with Copilot, and then really building an effective and unified dashboard for Microsoft 365 and Azure management within our platform. And I know that at the end of the day, we're all about making money, and we're super excited about that, and super excited for you to be able to make some money and be able to deliver new value. And we'll be working with Microsoft and Pax8 to be able to come up with co-selling and marketing initiatives that'll make you a lot more profitable and bring a lot more value to your business. So with that, I know I'm going to jump a little early here, but I want to introduce you to the future of managed services. And today, for those of you that weren't at Beyond, that didn't get a chance to enjoy some of the wonderful moments that we got to spend, I'd like to tell you that we are available inside of the Pax8 marketplace. So for those of you that are Pax8 partners that are joining us today, feel free to jump into your portal and be able to click your trial, be able to jump in and find Superops in the place that you find success inside of the Pax8 platform. Also, focusing on some other opportunities with Pax8 Academy and Pax8 peer groups is what's coming next for us, as well as an offering about our help desk with Pax8, and then also a fully integrated marketplace, which is coming out. So for those of you that are interested in learning more, by all means, would love to help you out. For those of you who want to see some of the information that I talked to you about today, this QR code here will walk you through a YouTube video that's out on the web. For those of you that are Pax8 partners that are inside, you feel free to jump into your vendor resource center and you'll be able to click on the Superops link and find out more about us. And so, Kristen, I don't know if we had any questions, but that's all I got today.
Man, we appreciate you jumping on and spending a little bit of time with us. I think we are already answering a lot of these questions in the chat as we keep going, but we appreciate your time. And we look forward to having you back on when we get some of these things live in our portal.
We will see you again.
Absolutely. All right, Juan, we appreciate you. We're going to keep on moving on with our content. So this is a shameless plug, everybody. Almost every Thursday, not this Thursday, but almost every Thursday, I get on and I host Technically Unraveled. We cover a ton of different topics, content, stuff like that. We have some great partners come on. We've talked to Scipio, probably going to talk to Superops soon, Juan. So we talk to anybody and anything that touches Microsoft. we talk a lot about, NCE changes, different programmatic changes, but also programs, offers, things like that come to you in the next coming weeks. I know this last week we talked to a different Microsoft representative and we talked about all the digital marketing content that's available to you as partners. We're going to talk to Libby in the upcoming weeks. Kat Daniels is going to make a reappearance talking all things cybersecurity at Microsoft. All of that to say, please make sure you like, share, subscribe, because I want to see you guys there in the chat. Would love to hear what you guys want to hear from content. Next. So a lot of resources we covered today, everybody. We've been posting some stuff in the chat. I know Ashley has gone in and posted all those newsletters. I am going to let you know that those newsletter links never change. So please make sure that you go to your specific currency. Bookmark that. In mid-month, when that comes out, all you're going to have to do is refresh that same page. So really excited about that. There's going to be a ton of updates there, but you can also go back and read down below on what was happening beforehand. Feel free to grab a screenshot of this, or it'll be available on YouTube later on. That way you can always go back. And with that, it leads us right into the Q&A. So, Charles, he says that he's been using Superops for over a year and it is amazing. So we have a partner testimonial happening in there. Appreciate it, Charles. Ashley, I'm not going to let you run away without any other questions because I know that you were on the back end answering some questions that were specific to your section and probably a little bit into the CSP. Now, as we go through, I just want to see, is there anything else that would help with additional clarifications just based on the sentiment that you were seeing and all the questions?
Yeah, so regarding the CSP transfer tool, more information is going to come out around this, right? We are currently working to pilot, as Vandit said, our first couple opportunities to Pax8 to be able to really document the process from end to end and what you need to know. There was not an opportunity for us to test this with Microsoft ahead of time. So we are, again, in a pilot so we can work to document it step by step and make it very clear for you guys on what is available, what isn't available, and who has access to move subscriptions. The big key thing here is that this is a CSP to CSP transfer tool, meaning the subscription has to live in the CSP program in order to transfer. So they need to be, the subscription needs to be tied to another CSP partner, and that could be another reseller, a direct bill partner, so a CSP partner who is purchasing from Microsoft directly, or a CSP partner who's purchasing through an indirect provider such as Pax8, and or if you're not familiar with who an indirect provider would be, the Ingram, Tech Data, CDWs, right, of the world. And so that's the only channel that's available for these motions. So like something like an EA is not able to be moved through this, something where a customer is purchasing directly online with a credit card and not tied to a partner such as yourself or someone similar to yourself. So there are a lot of questions around GoDaddy. So right, it's got to be CSP to CSP. The other thing is that, again, what Kristen mentioned earlier is that the losing the source partner, the losing partner, has to approve these requests and only have 30 days to do so, and we cannot control that. It's up to every partner to be able to say that they want to lose the business, and that partner is, again, in the CSP channel, if it's indirect, it's the reseller as well as the distributor. So I want to make that clear as well, and just stay tuned for more information from us as we really document this process from end to end, and we provide more guidance and clarity on what is allowed and is not allowed in the next coming weeks.
All right, I appreciate all the clarifications. Absolutely. There's a lot of stuff that's still to come. So please make sure that you guys are here with us this next time around. We look forward to always bringing you the most updated content. From that, that's a wrap today. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. and I hope that you have a wonderful day and happy first day of the Microsoft fiscal year. We'll see you next time, everybody.